Hello everybody, here we go, another Britcast, blah 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 blah. I'm David Birch. As always, I'm joined by Luke Riley, the guy in the flat cap, you know the rest. Okay, right, is that enough, Luke? Can we go? Because I need to play Bioshock.
Nope, you can't come back here now.
Are you sure? Because this game's highly addictive.
Just a little bit positive.
Really?
Yes, sorry.
Right, okay, we'll hang around then and do a bit of a show. Right, so this week we're going to be talking about lots of games, aren't we?
Indeed we are.
Yeah.
We've been a game frenzy the past few weeks.
It has, yeah, I've sort of overcome my my downward spiral from last week's show. Had a massive turnaround. How about you?
Me, it's been alright actually, being positive, I suppose. Crisis 3, a few nice surprises. It's definitely an improvement over Crisis 2.
Yeah.
It's very short though. I'm already 3/4 way through. I've only been on it 4 hours.
Yeah, it wasn't very long, was it? It was about 5 hours total, I think. 5 or 6 hours, I can't remember now, something like that. I did eventually finish it. I dragged my ass across and went and got it done. But, of course, this weekend just gone has been, like you say, an absolute fucking gaming frenzy. I think we should start smack bang with Gears of War Judgment.
Go.
You a fan of the series?
Indeed.
You are, yeah.
Yes.
You had much time with it, or have you just glanced at it?
Seen bits of it. I like the idea of it. It looks like something like Gears of War, a few good men. If Bard says you can't handle the truth, I will squee all over the screen like so. I can agree with you. Or if Jack Nicholson just appears and just says that, just a CGI Jack Nicholson with his army haircut.
Yeah.
Someone's desk, you can't handle the truth, and Bear just kind of looks over.
Well, unfortunately, that doesn't quite happen. No, it's a shame. But it is a really good game, though. I was quite surprised by that. I was thinking, because I know it's been Epic Games had some input, but it was primarily developed by People Can Fly. They're the guys that did Bulletstorm originally. Very impressed. I did like it. It doesn't have as many giant set pieces as the other Gears, as the previous trilogy had. But what it has in there, it's like the smaller chapters. I don't know if people out there have actually played the game, but you go through chapter by chapter. They're not very long, about 15, 20 minutes each. I think there's 5 or 6 chapters per act, as it were. And when you go through, there's like a normal version, which is like the military account of what happened. And then when you go in, there's like a Gears logo, generally right by the start of each level. And when you click that, it declassifies, the testimony. And then it'll have, like, you have to do it with a specific amount of ammunition. You have to do it with specific weapons. There'll be a loss of visibility. All sorts of different things happen. Well, actually, maybe just a mix-up of those three, to be honest with you, all the way through the game. But it makes it really interesting. It adds, it's sort of like you've got to dust off your skill level to get through that game.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed it, to be honest. One thing I did find, though, I didn't have to use cover as much as the previous Gears games. You could just stand there and have it.
Was that because the AI was crap, or you overpowered?
I don't know. I think it was. I mean, a lot of people criticise what the rest of the team AI was like in that game, like the other three. Because I played it single player. I played it all the way through. I absolutely chinned it on Friday night in one playthrough, which was, epic on the old fingers, to be fair.
How many hours does that set you back?
I'd probably say it was just under 8 hours.
Not bad.
Yeah, it was worth it. It was. I really enjoyed the experience of it, because once you get through Judgment, there's a little section there called Aftermath. Right. And it's kind of set and runs parallel with what Bear's crew does at the same time as Dom and, Marcus are off doing at the end of Gears of War 3.
All right.
At the end when they Baird and everybody shows up on that ship.
Yes.
And artillery, you see where they went and got that boat from.
All right. And
it also bumps into some of the characters that were, that were part of Baird's original story. It's an interesting way they've done it. I mean, I'll be honest with you, there's spoilers out there. It looks like they're building up to another follow-up to that. Gears of War Judgment is the beginning of something new, I suspect, with how it ends.
So is it like Assassin's Creed? Is it the Assassin's Creed, like, Revelations to the Assassin's Creed 2, or is it its own beast?
It's its own thing. It's more focusing on the Baird character, and how he gets busted down from being like a lieutenant, as it were. It shows like what happens, how he defies orders to take out this big thing that's attacking a bay. It's a clever little story and a great little tie-in to the actual series. But it sort of one of the characters was on the obviously the pendulum wars in Gears of War that were all happening before the emergence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a guy in there who's like sounds very sort of like German-esque, Austrian-esque, who was on the other side of the pendulum wars.
Uh-huh.
He was on what would be the bad guy. But obviously everybody's come together. All the cogs have come together to fight all the bad guys that are coming up through the ground.
Yeah.
And towards the end of the game, it sort of touches more and more on the pendulum wars. You actually see the other continents that have been attacked. And obviously, when Jacinto was sunk as well in Gears of War 2, you see a city that was affected by the tidal wave when it went down.
All right.
And hence why the boat is on top of a building. So you got the impression that it was a big fucking wave that washed across there. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I didn't touch much on the multiplayer side of things. Well, I went in there for a little bit and had a look, but it was still the same old gambol, shotgun blast, gambol, shotgun blast, as the other Gears of War games have tended to be. But the survivalist mode's worth a look. It's kind of like a replacement to Horde mode. It's not Horde mode 3.0 that everybody was expecting. It's very much like you got to set up defences and keep them out of a certain area from attacking this. I think it's like a sinkhole or something, or a cap on the sinkhole. It's just a different take on it. It's not a new, like I say, it's not a new Horde mode at all. It's just there. I think it's people can fly's imagination of it. And whatever Epic Games decide to do, I suspect that's where we'll see the new Horde mode 3.0. I totally recommend that game. If you're a fan of the series, it looks beautiful. The colour palette is a lot more deep because I think the idea is when you're doing the judgment side of it, the war hasn't been going on that long. It's been going on, but not as long as you think.
Right.
So there's still a bit of colour left in the world. Not everything's burnt out. Not everything's damaged. All that type of stuff.
That's been the theme running from the first game was totally grey washed out. The second game was a bit brighter, and then the third game was a lot of more green and vegetation. This one is going that way still.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of less sort of decimated areas that you pass through. There's a sort of war-torn, but not completely obliterated. But the visuals, very, very impressive. The chapters are good and punchy and they're not too long. And like I say, you get through all in about 8 hours. There is my pet hate of like a boss fight at the end. But you generally find that in most Gears games anyway now, don't you? They've always got a boss fight of sorts.
Well, the Queen in the tree was a good villain. Like, she was teased at too. And then, like, when she's kind of intimidating you, and then she uses her lieutenant to try and beat you up. And then in the third one, you're kind of expecting this better fight. Boss fights are getting weird. It's like they don't know what to do with them still. It's still the old 3-level tactics of the one stage, a second stage, and a third stage. Like, as if a boss would just kind of, who wanted to kill you and make sure her plans went, just do some stupid little move. What got her killed? Yeah. Doesn't make sense.
I think it all stems from Mario when you used to have to jump on Bowser 3 times.
Yeah, it is that.
3 stages are still there. I'm not sure how many stages of attack you have with that end of level boss, but you sort of like shoot off his cannons, deal with the enemies that come along, shoot off his cannons, take out his legs.
It's got to change for next generation, like it really has.
Yeah, you'd hope so anyway. But I definitely, like I say, completely enjoyed it. I would recommend it to anybody listening. It's well worth a pick up and play if you're a fan of the series.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so on there. Other than Crysis, what have you been playing? Have you just been creaming Tomb Raider?
Well, Tomb Raider is kind of, to be fair, I enjoyed it, but it's a little bit forgotten about.
Really?
I'm kind of just done with it. Finished it, done with it, I enjoyed it, but it's not a game I'm going to be remembering for a long time.
No. I mean, this is what we were talking about just before we came on. I got to play it as well. I actually battered that game in like a day and a half. Again, it was an epic amount of gaming since the last show. So I got through it. I enjoyed it. I did find that it was very, very easy.
Yes.
Yeah. I found that my hand was held all the way through it, especially with the jumping. A bit like you were talking about before. A bit too much handheld, even more than Uncharted gives you.
Definitely, and I didn't really care. It's all a Walking Dead thing, but I think I said last time it was a good game. I enjoyed it, but I didn't really care if she lived or died.
No. I mean, I was playing it with a couple of friends that picked it up for cheap because it went on sale at Game. I will promote them because I'm going to mention those guys a bit later on. But Yeah, it was well worth it, but we were all playing it. But I think most of the majority of the comments I was playing with some of the guys where they just wanted to find a glitch to see it naked again. And I was like, my God, that's what it was like when the first Tomb Raider game came out. Would you just grow up, would you?
Aye.
Exactly. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good as a reset point. But we've discussed Tomb Raider before. Let's move swiftly along and back to what you were doing.
Let's have a look. Dun, dun, dun. I have recently got the new, but it's not new, but it's the latest Skyrim DLC, and that's what I've been playing this week: is Tomb Raider's Crisis and Skyrim Dragonborn. It's really good. Although the visuals, I don't know what they've done, but it seems like to be a bit of a rush job.
Yeah.
The character still looks like as good as it did in the first game, but the environments in this, it's like they've turned the visuals down a notch on a PC settings kind of thing, like a Fable 3 kind of look, where it's like it looks like it could look good, but they've turned the graphics down on.
They've tried to like up the air, up what goes on in the world, but the visuals have taken an impact from it.
Yeah, and then the island's quite big because it's called it's like Solstheim. It's an area from Morrowind, and you can see the Red Mountain in the distance. Big volcano, but you can't go to it. Or I don't think you can, not yet anyway.
So because I've got this DLC, and because I haven't finished Dawnguard yet, I haven't moved on, but I've done the Hearthfire, Dawnguard, and I've got Dragonborn as well. I just haven't dug back into that game because the amount of hours needed to commit to anything in Skyrim is long. It is always long. It's well worth it. It's a rewarding experience, but damn, does you require some hours to put to one side? And there's a lot of talking in that game.
In Skyrim, there's a lot of talking, and there's a lot of the same voice actor. There's a voice actor that pops up in every freaking character almost.
Yeah, I have not. That is something that gets
it's like
me.
Monty Python sketch.
There's that one guy who always talks like that. He's, I think,
puts on an accent for an orc and something stupid.
Yeah, he does. He's one of the guys in. Is it the Companions?
Yes, I'm sure there's the same. I think it's the same voice actor for like the higher ups in the guilds.
Yeah.
There was one guy on Oblivion where it was like over the top, pretty rubbish. It was just kind of like it was a Monty Python sketch. Like, hello there.
Yeah. Fair dues. I don't know. You managed to get Monty Python in with Skyrim. That would make a very
Oblivion
interesting
it was Oblivion was like they took the piss. It was like kind of ha over there kind of thing, like a Black Knight sketch. Tis but a scratch.
Yeah, just a scratch. It's good. They are good games. It's good to go back to. And the visuals kind of do sort of still hold up. I know last week when you said that things had dropped off a bit, but I've seen some footage of that game being played on some of the guys that I follow on Twitter. And some of the mods that people have been doing on the PC version. But again, I suppose saying that, I'm talking about a PC version rather than the console version. But still, very enjoyable game. One thing I have been playing a bit early as well. I'm quite lucky to go to an event that Game were holding alongside with the new Defiance game that's being released next week. Me and one of our listeners, Pat Liver, went down there. He had to steal your place, Luke, because otherwise it was a hell of a long train ride for you to get down
Indeed
to. It was a bit.
I could have flew, but I was feeling a bit lazy, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, me and Pat Liver went down there. We got to have a little bit of a chat with some of the PR people that were floating around. And we got some hands-on time, about 3 hours with the game, straight from the beginning.
That's generous.
Yeah, it was. It was all set up all nicely, and because I live right in the city centre, it wasn't too far from where we were. It was walking distance, which was really handy. But all in all, Defiance, when I saw it, I was first thing I thought, in all honesty, was when we had Marcus B on the show, he said the game's got good, it's got a good idea, but visually it's not that pleasing. One thing I will say, when I saw the game, initially I thought, oh, this game looks like, 6, 7 out of 10 max on graphics. But as I realised how big the world is, and this is why I could sort of link it to Skyrim, was when I opened up the map, just the section that was available to us, after we got through the initial sort of like the tutorial part, as it were, and got through where everybody else at this event was playing. The area is absolutely massive. And judging by the size of the overall map, because I was having a bit of scoot around in the settings, it's huge. I'd say the actual map is much bigger than Skyrim's layout. I'll go out there and say that now.
Bold words, Dave. Bold words.
It was just the sheer size of it. It was absolutely massive. I mean, one of the things you do get quite early on is like a little vehicle, like a little ATV type of thing that you just simply press up on the D-pad and it sort of appears next to you and you can jump on and go riding off into the sunset.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got your typical MMO type of things. You jump in there, there's initial early grind missions and encountering all the various different enemy types. Hundreds of side quests popped up within the 3 hours. There's a main story arc that sort of channels all its way through.
Mm-hmm.
I only got so far with that, but then I was just sort of exploring off to the side of the map, and a lot of it is sort of defend this person while they activate these checkpoints, or go in there, kill these things, defend these people while they get revived, and then the enemies come flooding over the top. But all that aside, the object of it being an MMO on a console, but with guns, I was impressed. I did like it. And what they told us, well, how it ties in with the TV show is after every episode of the TV show, the map and the world actually updates after every episode of the show's been on.
Mm-hmm.
So if a big event takes place, or if something comes crashing down, or a big crater appears, or if a virus gets released, or if an area becomes irradiated, that will actually affect that part of the map in the MMO as well.
That sounds quite good.
Yeah, it is, and the best way I can describe to people how it controls, it feels like Mass Effect, more like Mass Effect than any other third-person shooter. It's just that the shooting, the actual, how fast you can aim around and target people, it was a bit looser, but looser in the right regard. The aim assist is very heavy though on that game. I will say that.
I hate the aim assist. It drives me insane.
Yeah, I tried to turn it off just to see what the game was like to shoot with, but it was on one of the settings. It was a bit greyed out, so I couldn't get much. I couldn't see. Well, I couldn't really mess with much of the settings of the game. I was playing with a predetermined character, one of the female alien characters you can play.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like the skill tree to actually level up is ginormous. Now they did say that nearly all of it can be filled up with the amount, how the leveling works with the character. Leveling is like a bit of health and adds up to your shield. You've got a regenerative shield, health. You've got to pick up health packs for. But all in all, I can't describe how big the skill tree was. It was massive, and if you can fill up most of that, that's impressive. There's like four major skills that you've got.
Right.
So if you've activated that's one specific skill, I was using just like the give your bullets more power. It opened up all these minor little squares that have and each square has 3 additional squares in them. Mm-hmm. And then you can build those up, and then you can assign them to your character as perks. And then as you continue to level up, it looks like you could probably have anywhere between 10 and 12 perks activated at any one time.
Right.
I think with how we were playing it, I think I got 2 perks activated with like a level 1 in each thing. So within 3 hours, we thought we got quite far. But then when I said how far are we into the game, and they were like, you ain't even really scratched the surface, because there's 2 initial zones on that demo. I drove to one of the areas to have a look and see what was out there, and it's kind of like farmlands, kind of almost like the Wild West, as it were, from like this. I drove from a very hilly, rocky, mountainous type of region. But how are you seeing all these little aliens running around Earth, and you're seeing all these strange plants these are things called arcs. Now, when these aliens arrived in their ships, I think it was like 13 years before or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But when we decided to say, no, you can't land here, so they tried to start it anyway and tried to fight their way onto planet Earth. Some of these arcs, they're like terraforming arcs, still crash to Earth and partly terraform parts of the planet. So you've got strange plant life, and you've got strange aliens, and you've got these weird sort of tunneling spires that spew things all over the place. It's just I liked it. Definitely a must-buy for me. Looking forward to that, because I'm actually off work, my day job, at the same time as when that game's released. So I'm looking to sink in a good 2 or 3 solid days play into that and see what comes of it.
Sounds interesting. It's the first time I believe this has been done where a game's kind of been used to, I suppose you could say, promote a TV show and vice versa.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're running like for you guys in the UK, I don't know if you've noticed, but they're running the ads quite heavily on Sky TV. I've seen a fair few of them, and I've managed to get my fearless partner. She likes the sci-fi type of stuff as well. I mean, she's got no interest in playing an MMO, She's more interested in Sonic that I saw her buy today, Sonic Generations. But even she said the TV show, she would definitely be willing to give it a look. And you actually see the main characters from the TV show right at the start of the game. They're on the same ship as you that gets shot down. So I'm interested to see how that ties in with the TV series. Shit, is this the point where I'm meant to say spoilers? But yeah, I won't give any away about how the plot line for the game works. But all in all, I thought I was impressed with it. See, I've been looking to see how much support goes. I did have a little nose around the shop when I was there playing on it.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a lot of cosmetic microtransactions embedded in there. Now, the one bit that was... Well, let me jump away from that for a sec. What's happened since we went to that event? We all got access keys for the Beta 3. So I've actually got it on my Xbox at the moment, Defiance. I'm playing it. I think it runs up until tomorrow. So I've had a good another 4 or 5 days with it. But I haven't sunk ridiculous amounts of hours into it. I've put another 9 or 10 hours in here and there. Mainly because I know that character's going to get wiped. So I don't want to push too far into the story to have a whole day of playing catch up. But the overall game is pretty impressive. I really do like it. And I'm trying to say, I reckon you should buy it, mate.
Was there many people at the event when you went?
The event was... Yeah, there was a few people there. They had a few people on rotation, kicking people off the console so that people go. They had free beer as well. I will say that. And I will say, thanks to Game, and it was Game at Perry Bar. I'll give you guys a shout out for that one, who got me sorted out and got me connected in. And yeah, as well, for anybody listening, have a look at Game UK's website, because there's other registrations you can go, early access to games, they call it lock-ins. Because me and one of our other listeners, who's a good friend of mine, we're going to be going to the Injustice Gods Among Us tournament.
Swine.
Yeah, we're going to the UK national tournament where we're representing Birmingham. There'll be 32 people. Exactly. 32 people battling it out to represent the store. And then we go on for the region, and then there's nationals, and there's prizes all over the place for it. And you actually go down to London, which is a HQ of the PR company that's promoting the game for Injustice. And my money is on Mr. Xavier Davis to take us far with that one. And I'll be riding on his coattails when I get knocked out in the first round, and Britcast will be reporting from each of those events, hopefully.
Who will be your chosen character? Better say Batman.
No, I don't think I'll be Batman. I haven't really decided yet.
Can't be Aquaman, the fucking shit one of the group.
You don't reckon?
King of the Seas, oh.
I might actually just be Aquaman just to annoy you now when I show you the capture
In that
footage.
case, I'm going to put acid into the sea.
Really? You reckon?
Get Greenpeace a fan of the show.
Nah, I doubt they'll be a fan of the show.
Well, you know.
No, I had a dolphin burger earlier today. They won't be impressed with me. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, definitely Defiance, Luke. You should give it a look. Team up with us. There's a couple of guys that we play Xbox with, who you've spoken to as well. We'll jump in there, create a faction, go and attack people.
Create a what?
Faction.
Oh, I thought you said create affection. I was getting worried there, Dave.
I'm not very affectionate.
You're a stone cold killer of game people.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, but you're the guy that relishes in that fact.
You're too right.
Yeah, it's always a bit freaky.
Nothing wrong with a bit of blood splatter now and again.
Yeah, this is true. So,
Moving on.
It's moving on before we go on to the Luke's psychotic ways again and another show. But yeah, so yeah, the only thing I'm looking forward to now in my I need to make up another word. We had a Mercified last week. Reinvigoration. How about that one for this week?
Sounds good.
There we go, another made-up word. Or does that exist? Reinvigoration.
Remercified, there you go.
Yeah, remercified. Yeah, I'm gonna have a tattoo of that one. But yeah, I need a good racing game now. Any racing games coming? I need a racing game. I've got these shooters again. This is what we complained about last week. Shooter. And then basically an Uncharted clone in Tomb Raider. But still no driving games. Where's the driving game?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I thought being like a game journalist as well, you might have kicked over a few rocks for me and sort of had an answer for that one.
Nope, I don't really care about racing games.
You don't?
Nope.
Why not?
If there's destruction in them, like Burnout, yes. But not if it's just a straight racer. Like I get bored by Gran Turismo. Or Forza.
You get bored. Say, how are we friends? I get bored of a racing game. Technical. Oh, it's all them numbers and G-force and apexes. It's special.
Give us a
Nah,
dragon to fight.
nothing.
If it was a car versus a dragon, like the game for the PS1, Vigilante 8, that was awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Vigilante 8, yeah. Where the cars could actually stall in that game.
Indeed. And then you could go in the blip. The blimp? Blimp? What's it called? Hindenburg kind of thing.
Zeppelin.
Zeppelin, that's it.
Blimp.
That's what it's called. Zeppelin, indeed.
Yeah.
And then you go in there. I used to like get frustrated because I'd try and get in there and just go on a free ride. I wouldn't even care about the fighting. I'd be like, hey, sightseeing. And then I'll get killed.
No, that's cool. No, I mean, because I need a good racing game. Sophie's been talking to me about racing games because I've got this thing like when I play racing games, I have to listen to my Fleetwood Mac Greatest Hits album.
So to get you in the zone.
Yeah, you can go your own way. On repeat. Absolutely smashing it.
You can go your own way. You just said that.
What's wrong with that?
Isn't that a Boston song?
A busted song or a busting song?
Boston. You can go your own way.
I guess so. Anyway, how we got into Fleetwood Mac, I'll never know.
Musical gaming soundtrack.
Yeah, true. Anyway, I want to move on to something. I need to pull you up on this on the show as well. Why was there a tweet about you asking some guy to lick your horns at a convention the other day? Do you want to fill in the listeners about that one?
Indeed. I have no shame. There is a voice actor called Vic Mignogna who voices the main character from an anime called Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And he was doing a Q&A.
Full
Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Okay. There's a lot of accent in there. Then that was just like a bit of a song in the middle of that. But yeah, carry on.
And then he was doing a Q&A session, and he told a story where a fan at another convention had been bet by his friends, or I bet you can't get him, to lick your hand. So because they were laughing and thinking, oh well, he's not going to do it. So she won the bet and wasn't embarrassed by the fact she'd been asked a ridiculous question. He let the fan lick his hand, and so because of that question, I said to him, I did ask a real question, but before that, I did say in front of 2,000 people, do you want to lick my horns? And then he started laughing. And he said, oh, you just traumatized some of the kids in the room. Like,
yeah, because I want to know what horns.
Oh, my costume for the convention.
What were you wearing?
There's a character. There's a character on.
I doesn't say bring it back. What the fuck were you wearing that required horns?
There's a character on Dragon Ball Z called the Ox King, and it was my first convention, so I thought, where's I go dressed up? And it was an easy costume to make. I didn't even make it. I bought it all because I'm lazy. And it was a costume which involved green trousers, black wristbands, white shirt with short sleeves, black braces, glasses, and a helmet with horns on, like a Viking helmet with a Japanese symbol on. I'm going to tweet you a picture at the moment, which I'll put on a link on Britcast.
Can I just ask, in your wardrobe then, you had green trousers,
Yes.
braces, and a horned helmet?
Yes.
As well as glasses. Now, I don't believe you had glasses, do you?
Nope, I bought them for the convention. They're only £1.
Fair play. The Ox King.
Yes.
That's it. This week's show, Luke Riley, the Ox King. Anyway.
But I did ask him, do you prefer doing action scenes or voicing like more quiet, emotional scenes, which is a decent question, but I just thought I'd ask a funny question. And then on the Sunday, I got another voice actor and that one singing the theme tune for Go Speed Racer because I said, what's your favourite theme tune? And then they both started doing an impromptu theme song, which was funny.
Go Speed Racer.
Go Speed Racer, go.
Off what?
This the anime, Go Speed Racer.
Oh, right, sorry. Didn't know that one. Like that.
You're an 80s child, I thought you'd know.
Anime?
Anime?
I know some anime, but not much of it. Not the theme song of Go Speed Racer Go.
Anyway, yeah, I'm at
I'm
that.
a bit of an old school one. I was just talking about a Fleetwood Mac greatest hits album to racing games. You know, that's a special kind of music that you need. You need a special appreciation for that. Oh wow.
It was a good convention. It was a good laugh. There's a lot of people, and it was good. There were some
What
people who
what was the convention? What was
it's
it?
called SunnyCon, and it's the only convention we've had in the Northeast forever. It was the first one last year, second one this year, and
So
it's
you were breaking out your horns for that one.
next year. No, then next year to Cape.
Cape.
Yes,
Are you going as next year?
I have no idea, but just anyone with a Cape.
What is it, SunnyCon then? Is it just about anime or is it?
Anime with video games and stuff like that. So the voice actors who were there, they do anime voices, but they also have been in video games and stuff.
hmm Were you promoting your show at the same time?
Uh, yes, I think I did. I might be able to get one of the actors on the podcast one time.
That'll be good. We'll have a man. We'll have a chat.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got your show recording soon as well.
Which one?
The one you're going to be a narrator for.
Ah, yes. Good point. It's
You need. I'm going to buy you some post-it notes and just you can have one bang right there on your monitor and your workstation saying, "I am a narrator on a show." You can have one of those. You forgot, didn't you?
Didn't forget. I haven't done any voice acting this week for it, so it's slipped my mind.
The week, fair play.
Oh, have I done one session last week and I didn't. The guy's car broke down,
Right. Okay.
so we couldn't go to the place to voice act.
Okay. Fair enough. You should
Indeed.
be voice acted in a car.
Yes.
That'd be an interesting one. Hello.
Just incorporating the story, the comic sound effects.
Yeah. We should get me on there as well. Have a Geordie and a Brummie arguing during the narration. No. This is what happened. Declassified version. Press the button. I don't know.
Hear it sound legit.
Yeah, it would. It'd sell. It'd be different. It would.
It'll make Ian McKellen's voice over like a hobo.
Yeah. Ian McKellen is the hobo.
Just in general, it'll make him doing a voiceover like it'll make him look like shit basically. Cough, root, sarcasm, not.
I thought you meant the littlest hobo for a minute. I think maybe tomorrow.
Who the fuck's the littlest hobo?
You don't know what the littlest hobo is?
Nope.
You need to look that up. That's some good shit. That's some childhood TV.
I'm just
talking
thinking
about
of a
right there.
dirty hobbit.
Everybody, I know there's people out there laughing who've heard it, or they're googling it right now that listen to the show. The Littlest Hobo, legendary soundtrack, legendary song at the beginning of that show.
I'm thinking of either a dirty hobbit or like an Ewok that's been dragged through sewage.
Only you would imagine that. Nah,
Like
fair
Han
enough.
Solo getting sick of the Ewoks and just push them in the sewage and then just drag them through it.
You love the Ewoks. What are you on about?
To be fair, I don't understand the hate for the Ewoks.
Yeah.
Ewoks are awesome.
We can't get into Star Wars again because we're going to have our Jedi's versus Iron Man. Well, that's a show we should narrate. Jedi.
But it will be
Order.
game over, done.
It wouldn't very just blast your ass. That's what would happen.
Use the Force. Don't.
Nah, no chance. Anyway, we're not
Stop.
going to.
Get you to the fates and cry in fear.
I wouldn't.
What do you mean? I wouldn't.
I'd just blast out some OCD. So
I would.
drown out that John
You were a billionaire
Williams.
philanthropist playboy, David.
You what?
Are you a billionaire philanthropist playboy?
No.
When you said I wouldn't, as if you're Iron Man.
Well, I am Iron Man.
You've heard it here first, people.
Exactly. I'm just lacking a fucking suit and a couple of billion. But still, I'm Iron Man where it counts. Anyway, should we move back onto games?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, should we talk about Bioshock?
One of them, because before they record this, it was kind of a podcast in itself.
Yeah, we did start off for that reason, didn't we? Bioshock Infinite. How can I sum this up in a very few words? It's fucking brilliant. There we go. We're done. Now I can rap. I'm going to go back and play it. No, it's a very good game. Very good game. I've been playing it non-stop since I laid my hands on it. I'm probably 7 hours in. Maybe about that, yeah. You said that in shock and surprise. Am I not allowed to be?
Not even out, do you?
Yeah. Busy. We're recording late, remember? We got it. Got home from work. In it went. Bam. I haven't even eaten.
Thanks for that dedication.
Fucking wasting away here. And I'm recording the podcast when we're playing Bioshock. But more about the game anyway. Let's just say this. I haven't found a single flaw in it yet. I think the gameplay is good. The graphics are amazing. The AI is good enough for what it can do. I'm more interested in ripping apart with all the vigors. The storyline is, I don't know, it's captured me, the storyline has.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see where it goes. I mean, there are sort of like spoiler-esque things I'm going to talk about ahead, so just be warned. I'm not going to go spoil-taculous, but I will mention some stuff. There's an element of time travel in there. You know, there's interdimensional stuff kind of going on and alternate worlds and universes.
Mm-hmm.
The character of Elizabeth, who partners up with you, I think she's a great character. A lot of people thought that you were going to have to be carrying her. I can tell you that now. When the firefights kick off, she can take care of herself. She finds cover. She'll throw you ammunition. She'll throw you health. She'll throw you the salts. The salts is what sort of powers your vigor. She'll throw you those, keep you topped up. When you're off doing the looting side of things, she'll find money and throw money in your general direction. Literally, she'll flick a coin, and there'll be a little animation where your character turns and catches the coin out of the air.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really solid game. It is definitely a game of the year contender.
What's the music like?
That's very, very good as well. It's just, there isn't music all the way through. There's sort of like an action music sort of riff that's going on. So you know there's enemies there, and that dies down as soon as they've gone. But a lot of the music that goes on is sort of like coming out of the tannoy systems and out of the wireless radios that are kicking around. But there is, sorry, choking there, I'm that excited. There is one bit that particularly got me, and let's just spoil a bit. The bit with the guitar. I wasn't expecting it. It's almost like a Disney-esque moment within the game. I was sort of like looting around this basement, and there was a guitar there, and it said, press X to pick up guitar. So I picked it up. My character picks the guitar up. He sits down and starts strumming away on it. And then Elizabeth's there, and she comes down the stairs all very looking elegant-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just starts singing. And like singing this little tune, this little almost Disney-esque type of rhyme to it. And she picks up this piece of fruit off the side and gives it to this little starving boy who's sort of like hiding from us under the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a minute and a half. And it's just so encapsulating. There's so many of those little bits all the way through the game. I won't spoil some of the others, but there are so many parts like that all the way through. It's really, really solid. And I mean, they are kind of getting cutting it quite close to the knuckle with the race and the racism in there.
Or was it 1912? All in 1912.
Yeah, there's the segregation of, I mean, the phrase black, yellow, red, and Irish is said a lot.
Right,
And there's a lot. There is racism in there. There's like an interracial black woman and a white guy who were literally tied up at a circus, and people could throw baseballs at them. You know.
And are the audience is the people who are throwing the baseball, are they kind of choosing anyone in particular to throw things at?
They're just pounding the pair of them because it's all about keeping the purity of the race. So it's got that kind of Aryan feel going on. With as well, there's a level of hardcore Illuminati, talking about with the Founding Fathers. There's a rewriting of history as well that goes on with the prophet that keeps an eye on Colombia.
Right.
It's got some serious undertones of like, it's definitely going after religion as well, the underlying belief. But again, that's like Illuminati, the one true voice that speaks over God, which is obviously what sort of the Illuminati is meant to be all about. It's what the God-fearing folks say. When all the lights and all the power and everything goes out, there'll be this one voice that leads people after their supposed salvation.
My voice.
Yeah, as a false prophet. And that's obviously what this false prophet guy is that runs Colombia.
Yes.
And it's digging quite deep in there. And he's sort of like, quite quickly you realise he's foretold your arrival.
Mm-hmm.
And your character you play as well, he does have a voice. I know some people said that when a character has a voice, it takes them out of the experience, you know, because you sort of like put yourself in the character you're playing shoes, don't you? Have your own thoughts and emotions. He doesn't say a lot. He just says enough, and he's got just the right attitude, and it plays off so well with Elizabeth's character because she's sort of been locked in this tower. She's kind of naive in a sense.
Right.
She kind of like loves life. She just wants to get out of there. Whereas your guy's playing like an ex-military, battle-hardened private detective that's been sent there to go and grab her.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't actually live on Columbia, which you'll figure out in the first 5 minutes of the game anyway.
Right.
You're going there for the first time and you're trying to blend in.
Mm.
And yeah, so very, very, very good game.
So does it start off quiet and then get the rise and stuff, or is the peaks and valleys in terms of the action?
Well, because the other two Bioshocks, you kind of had the people that were on Rapture who'd sort of been infected and they'd all gone a bit mad, hadn't they? They were all
Yeah.
like lunatics running around. This isn't like that. When you arrive on Columbia right at the start, everything's all peace and love and happy, and you're literally walking around a fair. I mean, that's how the tutorials dealt with the shooting, fairground games, and how you use some of the vigors as well.
Mm.
They're fairground games. It's that's how clever they've made the game. It's not your standard press LT to use vigor and click to aim, and they got rid of that. They just bred it into the game, and like in the foundations of the game to just bring you along. But it doesn't start all crazy. It starts off, like I say, there's a fair going on. There's almost a parade for the profit. And you just sort of everybody's awestruck about this big parade that's going on, and you kind of like blend in and float around it.
Right.
And then eventually it goes tits up because people figure out what you're there for. But that's a good hour. I'd say it's easy an hour into the game. If you do what I did, I mean, I explored every nook and cranny because from previous Bioshock games, all them boxes, sound boxes,
Yeah.
they're scattered in all far corners. So I went off with the mission to try and find those on my first playthrough. So I'd really had a look at everything. But there's conversations going on that you can literally stand there and listen to. And the conversations will break if they clock you. They'll sort of go, oh, he's new, what's he wearing? You know, that type of thing.
Mm.
And so, and then you've got, when you go towards the slums, you've got people singing almost like gospel type of music
Right.
as well. You've got that type of feel with, you know, the black sort of population that's there, and I'm sort of coming across like a Chinese element now that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But those, and the Irish have been floating around as well, but it's all deliberate segregation. The white folk are the ones that sit on top, and everybody else is sort of ground down into sort of like, well, very hardcore slavery in all honesty.
That's professional, because games shy away from those kind of issues, and I think it's about time they didn't.
Yeah, he definitely brushes on things that, you know, is part of like mankind's history and failings.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of see this going on, and there's bits and, I mean, I won't go into it too much, but there's bits and pieces, and it's highlighted by the general populace as well in one way or another. So it's not like it's just happening and being ignored. There is actually something going on with that. That is quite an integral part of the story as well. But how it's coming through is one way. There's multiple story arcs basically going on, and they're slowly intertwining, which is, so it's 7 hours. I hope the game just doesn't end quite quickly. Let's just put it that way, because it's certainly building up and building up and building up, and I want to see the storyline go a lot further than where it is at the moment. I really do.
Well, I know that the ending has been set to divide people.
Really? I don't need to know any more about the ending then.
No. I haven't played the game. That's all I know of it.
Well, I mean, Irrational Games, they don't exactly turn out many, many games, do they? I mean, how many games have they turned out? I mean, obviously Bioshock 1. I mean, is this the next game after that? What else have they turned out?
Well, Ken Levine's been quiet for a while.
So I take it it's got to be this, because the only other thing I remember Ken Levine talking about was a potential Bioshock for the Vita, wasn't it?
Ah, yes, I've heard that.
Yeah, and that hasn't been in development, because I mean, it was interviewed probably a year ago now saying it's in the hand of the financiers. So, I mean, with a year in development,
Mm-hmm.
and with Bioshock coming out, I suspect that version still, if at all, if it exists at all, it's still a long way away from appearing.
Well, did you play Bioshock 2?
Yes.
Like, compared to this, I'm assuming that was, like, average at best.
Yeah, I mean, Bioshock 2, all I found at Bioshock 2 was that it was a cash-in, and they refined some of the controls, because some of the controls in the original Bioshock just irritated me a little bit. They're a bit awkward. This is, you can carry 2 weapons, you can have 2 vigors armed at any one time that you can sort of like combo hits, like lift people up and electrocute them or hit them with crows, all that type of stuff.
Right.
But the weapons there's multiple weapons all over the place. Ammo is quite easy to come hold of, I'll say that, with certain perks you can put on, because you get perks to what clothes you're wearing, you know, hat, shirt, trousers, boots, etc.
Waistcoat?
I suspect there's a waistcoat in there and a flat cap.
Where do you stock now, Dave?
Yeah. Oh my god. Anyway,
And the
moving
pocket
on.
watch.
And reading spectacles to
No,
listen
you're
to
not yet.
reading spectacles to listen to the radio. I bet you've got those. But yeah, then the sky rail that's in there as well. I thought that mechanic was going to be quite awkward, looking at the videos.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like they're almost magnetic. So when you flicks it out to go and jump, you can jump really far. And like you can speed up, slow down on there. You can jump on people off there. You can shoot on people. People will give chase as well.
Mm-hmm.
The AI will jump up and try and have you on it, so you can try and shoot them off. You can fly across the map and land on other parts. So the battle arenas where you are, it's not just like, oh, I'm stuck on this platform and they're all over there and they're going to try and surround me. 9 times out of 10, you can get off and change position. Elizabeth will follow you as well on the rails. And the way she sort of does those tears,
Right.
she can bring things into the battle, like she can raise cover, she can bring in turrets. You can see them sort of grey and flickering, like a bad image moving across. And then if you target it and just hold X, she will zap it and it'll come through into the world. And if it's a gun turret, it'll be on your side.
Mm-hmm.
And there's certain vigors as well, so you can control humans while you zap them so they become on your side. Same with turrets, and there's obviously a timer towards that, how long they actually live. There's lots going on in that game.
It's about time there was a shooter that was as varied as this, because to be fair, it's getting a bit bland, really.
Yeah, there is a really good story behind it. I mean, I know we always talk about narrative in games being a bit shit in general. This one is, if you sat back and looked at it, you'd probably look a bit silly, like all games would. Everybody would say that, but I'm not seeing that at the moment.
Right.
My first playthrough, I'm totally captivated with there. I'm enjoying it. I want to know what's going to happen next. Every door that opens, I wonder what visuals I'm going to see as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even from the most simplest barn to the simplest like warehouse to opening up into a club to going into the basement. It's amazing. Some of the stuff earlier on in the game as well is just when you're doing these sort of walkthroughs where you're kind of learning the history of Colombia by going on this tour, I'd say, you're sort of like looking around thinking, this is amazing. The engravings on the walls and the slogans that have been put around. It's just a great game. All in all, it's just a great game.
Sounds good. It's out now.
Yes, it is. And you'll still off the mark again. You were on about this game so much, and then you just haven't bought it.
Bit of a fail, really.
Bit of a fail. But I see. So you're going to be. What I was going to say, back to Defiance. You're going to be buying that game.
When I see more on it, I've seen very little on it, so I'm going to have a little look around, see what's about, see what's going to look like, see what the stuff, and then see what I think to buy it or not.
Oh, I mean, we've got a bet. Me and Pat Live have from going down there. We've got a bet that the game's going to get because it's graphically okay. It's good. It's good for bearing in mind the size of the damn thing.
Right.
I mean, when I logged into the beta 3 on the first day, I mean, as soon as it went live, I logged in. And there was hundreds of people that were spawning in just after doing the tutorial part.
Right.
And it didn't slow down at all. There was no frame rate drop. There was no nothing. There was people running around everywhere. It was like storming the beach of Normandy. There was that many people running up this one hill, and the game ran fine. That's obviously why the graphics aren't at optimal performance. You're not going to get Gears of War out of it. But like I said, we've got this bet anyway. The game will get marked down because it's not as visually pleasing as people would like to expect. I just think the object of having it tied in with a TV show, people should give it a chance. Don't believe the 6, 7 out of 10 reviews that I suspect that it'll get. Because if the review comes out launch week, the TV show is, 7 or 10 days, maybe even longer, after the game's released.
Right.
So how the hell can that game be reviewed properly without the impact of how the TV show affects the MMO world? The whole idea of it won't have happened by the time the reviews launch.
Yeah, give it a chance to let it be what it's meant to be instead of judging on what it's hasn't been able to do yet.
Because they've played MMOs before. You have that standard first, like almost 12 hours grind.
Yeah.
You do your tutorial, then you build up your character, then the story opens up, and then you see what's going on, and then the factions start to roll out, and all the groups start to form, and you get your little crews with your mates and meeting new people. You need to develop that. I mean, I know DC Universe Online, that was a very bland world. The game was quite enjoyable, but it was quite a bland world. The world, there's a lot more going on. I felt like I could loot more, I could get around more. It did get very spaced out when I got like 9-10 hours into the beta, because I think I pushed a lot further on than a lot of other people had because of how early I jumped on there.
Right.
And it got very sparse to the people I was running into, which meant some of the missions, like the raids, became a bit of a handful.
Yeah.
On my own. But that's what I say. Anybody listening, give it a chance. Go out there, have a look, purchase the game. I reckon it's good. And that's what I got to say about that.
Good stuff. It's been a good week of gaming.
It has. We got more coming up. Bank holiday week. You're off and I'm off as well at the same time, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
So you're going to catch up on some games then?
Yes, hopefully I get Crisis 3 finished.
Yeah.
And then get Bioshock.
Yeah, anything else on that week off radar?
Nope, not really. Nothing until Injustice.
No, I have got a freshly wrapped copy of, Doom 3 HD.
BFG edition.
Yeah, I got some, one of my friends, my game fairy, as I say, sent it me to give it a try. I know it's a bit late out the gate for its re-release, but I'm going to squeeze that in, I think, this weekend before Defiance lands. And anybody out there as well, by the time they're listening to this, whenever it goes live, because I'm not willing to look on the internet because of spoilers for Bioshock, what is the 1999 mode? That's what I want to know.
You've heard it here first, people. Answer this question.
Yeah, I want to know. I'll probably have found out by then anyway. But I was just
I've heard it's a mod that should recommend it. I know people recommend the mod.
Yeah, you can't play it until you've done the game once too already. But I'm definitely keen on seeing what that's got to offer. And I think because there's no multiplayer achievements, which generally do my fruit in with games anyway, I'm gonna. This is just a pure single player experience, so I'm gonna probably try and get all of these done before Defiance arrives. So there we have it.
Sounds good.
A lot of games this week, really, weren't there?
It's about time actually, because it's been. Usually this time of the year it's a bit shit for games, but 2013 is proving to be quite good.
Well, I'm looking at my calendar. After Defiance, you got Injustice that's coming out, and then what is there? Obviously, I know we got GTA 5. What really else is there? I'm not counting COD or the fucking EA sports games. What else is on the horizon?
There's Last of Us in June.
Of course, The Last of Us. Yeah.
And then, to be fair, I know Castlevania Lord of Shadow 2 sometime this year. I don't know what the release date is for that yet. And GTA 5. That's all I can think of. Yeah,
there's not much out there. I know. I think in fact, Battlefield 4. We should have some news on that by the next show as well.
Well, as I'm doing this podcast, I can see there are images being tweeted of Battlefield 4, and it looks damned fine.
Yeah, we've got some information coming our way on that game as well, and we'll have a chat about that on next week's show.
Indeed, will.
Yep.
For now, I think it's a wrap to you.
I think we're done. I need to go back to Bioshock. I like talking to you, Luke, but then just enough's enough at times.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
I've got prices to finish, Dave. What you doing? Keep it from again.
I know, yeah. All right, then. Do you want to tell people how to get in contact with us?
kissmyass@hotmail.com is how you can get in touch. No, I'm kidding. It's britcast007@gmail.com is the email. Britcast is a Twitter. @RemedyLive is Dave's Twitter handle, and @UGamers is mine. Follow, like, subscribe, comment, and share our little podcast.
Yeah, did you mention YouTube, Britcast007?
That is it.
Yeah. And we're in negotiation as well. There's been some rumours of a name change for our show. If that happens, we'll let you all know.
Indeed, we will.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's news to me, so I will negotiate the hell out of that.
We spoke about it, you crazy person.
Oh, wait, Dave, I've got no post-its.
No, true. I'm going to have to send you some of those. That's going to have to be done.
Indeed, it will.
But that's it. I believe that's a wrap. Right, everybody out there, go and buy Bioshock, go and buy Gears, go and buy Defiance. Money's not a...
That's what you think.
Money's not a problem. We're only in a recession, but you've got to have it. At least you're not on smack or anything like that. Have gaming smack. That's what you need.
Oh, damn shame that we're not like. Anyway.
Exactly. Let's get going.
Don't endorse these for drugs or any kind of paraphernalia. We bid you good day.
Goodbye.